So, talking about goals and inhibitors, so we're trying to set you guys up for 2022. So, first of all, what is that? What is a goal, and what's the purpose of it? Does anybody want to unmute themselves and just dive in and throw out some answers?
I can do something on that one if it's okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so goal for next year, I'm slightly changing my direction. So more than more what you probably hear from me is change it from being just a web developer or something like that to being a brand person, building the brand for a company. And that's the big push change for next year. It's just a sort of tone of voice as much as anything else.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that, Tim. Anybody else?
So goal, I guess, is a target. It's a target that you're aiming for, and it's got to be a SMART type of goal. All the acronym that SMART stands for, specific, measurable, and realistic, and all those things. I'm sure you'll go through it, but it's got to be something that's realistic, and you're setting it and it's achievable.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. So setting those actually sets the right intentions, and it is fundamental to have those, because if you haven't got a goal, you don't know where you're going. But also, it's about growth. When you're thinking about your business, you want to keep growing. And I think the last 2 years have taught us that we need to be growing. We need to be flexible and adaptable to changes. It's absolutely fundamental. So thinking about what your goal is, or what your goal has been, and what your goal needs to be. And it's those small steps that you take, because you can't go from the bottom of that cliff upside down right to the end in one go. You've got to find that path in order to get there. What is it? What challenges are you going to have? How are you going to divert from one path to another path to accomplish and achieve that success? Next slide, Lilian, please. So your mindset. So it's about looking, and we often forget about our mindset because we're thinking about money, we're thinking about the end goal, and we're thinking about how many customers, clients we need to get. But in order to get all of that, it's so important to talk about the mindset. Now, I can talk about mindset, gosh, for hours on end, and it's huge. So I'm going to try and bring it down into just a couple of minutes. So it's self-awareness, understanding how your brain works and how things can change. Understanding yourself in terms of growth, how you grow. Are you a fixed mindset? Are you a growth mindset? Also look at the way you are in your personal life, because a lot of what happens in your personal life feeds into your business and vice versa. So look for the strengths, look for the weaknesses, and how are you going to use that? Also, what do you say to yourself? What are you saying to yourself when you set yourself those goals? Because that internal thought pattern and that critical critique that you may have is going to stop you from achieving those challenges. And we all have them at some point, but it's how do we reframe and switch those around? And with that goes your belief systems. Check in with your belief system. That is so, so important, because what you believed in the past may not necessarily serve you with your next steps of your goals that you want. And it doesn't mean they're wrong. It's just that you need to tweak them a little bit. So belief system. So again, believe in yourself, believe in your business. Think about the things that's stopping you or could stop you. So that means going back to your business plan. Right? Just because you did a business plan 5 years ago or 10 years ago, that doesn't mean it's done and dusted. It's so important that every so often you go back. I would say at least every 6 months to once a year, have a quick look through, check in with it. How is it working? Where can you make those changes to create that mindset? So again, looking at your belief systems, don't focus on the failures as failures. Look at them as learning lessons. So what you've learnt this past year and before that, what have you learnt to take you through 2022 to move you forward? And that's where you can start to turn things around and start reframing those thoughts that you've had about the past to more positive thoughts. Importantly, it's about using your time productively as well. So where are you spending your time? Because as I say, your time is valuable. Money is important, yes, but how you use your time is so critical. So use it productively. Do what you love for the people who you love and what you do. That is also important, because if you don't love what you do, why are you doing what you do? And I think that takes us back to 2 weeks ago when you did the why and the purpose. You have to know your why. I'm sure Chandra might have mentioned Simon Sinek. He's nodding. So go to that core of the apple and look at your why. What is your passion? What's your drive? What's your motivation? Because that will help you to create that positive mindset. Develop all the strategies you need, tools, tips, support from other people, other experts out there, to help you avoid procrastinating, overcoming those fears that you might have, so you can come out of those comfort zones and take the risks that you need to take. Because sometimes we do need to step out that comfort zone and take those risks, because if you stay where you are, you're not going to have that growth in your business. Again, we're in a great community here at the Friday Wind Down. Learn from each other. It's a fabulous platform to have, and also from your clients. You learn a lot from your clients, and I know that I've been learning a lot through the People Skills course with Chandra from our clients in order to take us for our next modules and programs that we're going to do. Also, think ahead. So vision planning, that's another thing that you can do to create that right mindset. There's vision board planning, and I've done courses on it. I've done workshops on vision board planning, because again, it's a bit like a business plan, but it can be yours. You cater it to the unique you, and it can have pictures, post-it notes, and you can go to Chandra for post-it notes and highlighters, because he knows I love them, so he's my ever-ending supply. Create the vision board that you want and set that goal. Have the affirmations that you want, because this is all about mindset, the growth. How does your brain change? What else have got? I think, yes, review your skills. Again, it goes back to your business plan, which many of you may have. And if you haven't, think about the skills that you've got and the knowledge you've got. Is there other avenues that you can grow your skills, learn new skills, gain more knowledge, and put them into action? So when you're doing all of this, don't just take it and I've got the skill, I've got the knowledge, but do something with it. Put it into action, and that is so important. Then set yourself in targets, and Lilian's going to talk about this. The goal setting, be better in something it is. That's Lilian's thing, but mine's the SMART goal. That's what I deal with more. But she'll talk about that too. And make sure you do one goal at a time. So you've got your big vision goal, but then what are the little steps? Just like we saw the image earlier on with the cliff hanging upside down. Put those in. What I will say, because I'm all about well-being and mental health, is me time. Make sure you have the me time, the self-care, while you are growing your business and you have your goals, so that you've got that time to disconnect, refocus your energy, your mind, and come back fresh to start the next steps. I'm going to stop there and hand over to Lilian now, because as I said, I can go on forever and ever. And we're going to talk about the flow and the process. Just go back there for a second, Lilian. So I don't know if you want to take a picture of this, or we can send the slide to you. I completely forgot about this. So when you think about your goal, think of it as a flow process, and how you might think about, what's important to you. And this is actually good with your why as well, that you were doing with Tim and Chandra. And if it isn't, you can adapt it and change it. So this flow process is very simple, and you can use it with everything. Okay, Lilian, over to you.
Thank you. So I'm going to talk a bit about the goal setting techniques, and I'm sure you're all familiar with the SMART goals. And it stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. But if you find that it's just too much to think about, I'd like to introduce you to this method called the good, better, best. It's not the two of them work together. So what I like about good, better, best is that it's starting where you feel is doable and then stretching you as you get more confident. So for example, my ambitious goal for next year is to run short, informative workshops. And my greatest fear is that nobody turns up. So my good goal is to advertise the event. So I feel like, yeah, I can do that. I can advertise. And then my better goal would be, let's have 3 attendees. I think, I'm sure I could get 3 persons to attend. And then my best goal would be 10 attendees in one workshop. So I'm starting where I feel I can achieve, which is the good goal. And then as my confidence grow, then I can go back to it and say, look, I'm doing good at this. Let's try to do better. And you can merge them together. So use your SMART goal for each level. So for the good level, you would then have to be specific, measurable, attainable. And in Zeenat's handout, which she will walk you through next, you could see there'll be a section on where you could apply this. So now I am going to move on to Zeenat, who will walk you through her handout. So I'm going to stop the slideshow and then share the handout. Okay, so let me just stop sharing and share the next bit.
Lilian, did you send these ones out?
No, I will send it out after.
Okay, that's fine. You guys can make notes there just to kind of get you started. But so it's about nailing your business goal, okay? And the key, this is my format. There's lots and lots of different formats out there. This is the one that I use with my clients, and I work through it with them step by step. And then with that comes the questioning, because it's important to dive in and ask yourselves each time you do one of these, what are the deeper questions for them? So these are just basic ones, but then with my clients, I dive even deeper for each section. So again, we were talking about the SMART goals, which a lot of us know about. It could be, obviously, excuse me, I've got the definitions up there. Now, when you write your SMART goal, it has to be in the present tense. So write your SMART goal down. What is your business goal, your overall business goal for 2022? Then you have to say when you want to achieve it by. Now, that date may change, but the point is you need to put something in there to give you, I've got to achieve. Otherwise, it's just going to keep going and going and going. Okay, and you might be surprised that you may achieve it even sooner than that date. So if you want right now, if you know what your business goal is for 2022, I want you to write that goal down and the date. So it's that overall goal, what you want. And it could be for just 3 months, it could be for 6 months, or it could be for the year. But do something that's realistic for you. That's actionable, that's measurable, okay? And be very, very clear and specific. And also, once you've written that goal down, I would say write it on a post-it note, have it somewhere where you can see it all the time, have it on your phone, maybe as a screensaver, and decorate it, whatever it may be, so that you are reminded about what that goal is. It's about the mindset, so that feeds into it. Okay, then what happens, I take you through the different things, and you have the motivation. Sorry, can you scroll back up or down? So you got the motivation. So know what your motivation is. Know your benefits of achieving that goal. So when you achieve it, what is it that it's going to give you? There's no point doing a goal that's not going to really give you what you want. So be specific on that. Also, the biggest benefit, because you might want to prioritize them. Again, look at the pain. What is the pain of not achieving that goal? So when you think about, if I don't achieve it, I'm going to be feeling like this, or this is going to happen, because that will drive your motivation to achieve it more successfully. Then you've got the section of what will stop you from achieving the goal. So when you set yourself the goal, you've got your big goal, but when you do the smaller goals, each time you've got to say, right, this is my goal for the week or for the 2 weeks or for the month. Are there any obstacles that are going to stop me from achieving? So what is it? So you need to be aware that the benefit of not completing it, what's it going to be? Also, the biggest threat. So what is your threat? What is the fear that you've got? Because sometimes we fear the unknown, or we fear if we're not going to achieve the deadline or the amount of money that we might have set ourselves. So noting those down so they become visible so that you can then reframe those thoughts. Setting your goal levels. Again, your minimum, target and extraordinary. So that's the biggest target that you want. So in quantity or quality. The next one is, how will you or your business need to be different? So worthwhile goal often requires you to look at and do things differently. So in order to achieve the goal, what are you going to start doing that you haven't been doing? Again, it's looking at the past from your learnings. So not the failures, but the things that you haven't achieved, and what can you improve on? So what are you going to start doing? What are you going to stop doing? So look at those belief systems, look at the things that haven't been working and say, I'm going to stop doing this with the right intentions. And in order to achieve the goal, what will you need to be? So that could be someone, it could be a business that is. So again, it's about visualizing the future. Lilian, please. What have we else got? It sounds like a business plan, but it's amazing what goes into a goal. So your resources, always, you have amazing resources available to you. So in order to achieve those resources, list them down, because we often forget. And when they're actually there in front of us, we think, oh my God, I completely forgot about these resources. So use them, because there's only so much you can keep in your head. Having them visible is fundamental. And of course, key to anything. There's no point doing all of this. You might as well not do it if you're not going to take action. So action is what you need to be doing, and holding yourself accountable, taking ownership of your actions. Yes, you can have people that hold you accountable, and Lilian's going to talk about Lauretta's slide in a second. But part of it is your own responsibility. So here, think about 3 steps that you will take within the next week, it could be, or the next month. You can cater this to yourself, but I generally say a week, because they're small steps towards your bigger goal. And then complete the next month as well. Okay? And of course, put the date in there as well, because it will hold you accountable. And finally, this is a great little exercise that I love doing, and you can either do it written, or you can get your colours out, pastels, whatever you want, and start drawing pretty pictures, however you want to do it. But, you know, I want you to describe a day in your life, or the life of your business, in the sense we're here to grow our business, once you have completed the goal. So what will your business look like once it's completed? And I've given some trigger questions there. Who are you? What is important to you now? Where are you? What is your business like? And how is your business operating differently? So this is the visualization part of it. And you can, as I said, you can write it, or you can draw pictures, or you can do both. And that's it. So I hope that's been useful.
Thanks,
Lilian.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I think a good thing about this handout is that so often we have goals in our head, but this one makes you put everything down onto paper, and then you can go back and, you know, reflect on it. I'm just going to share with you Lauretta, her video. I hope it works, on her productivity pod sessions. So if you find, you know, I don't have the energy or don't have that space, attending one of her sessions will help you, because it's this time that you've set aside and you're working with other people. So you have to, well, I don't know, someone's looking at you doing the work in that sense. Let me just see if I could share the video with her and the sound.
Hi, Friday Wine Downers. I'm really sorry that I can't be with you this evening.
Sorry, can I just check? Can you hear
Yeah.
and see? Okay, great.
But suffice to say, I'll be back in a couple of weeks. I'm just taking a well-earned mini break, which we all need from time to time. So, did you know that the decision to be productive comes from intention? This is something that I learned over lockdown when myself, Helen, who you know, and another lady got together on Zoom every week over lockdown just to have a chat, you know, have a catch up. And the weekly Zooms soon turned into productivity sessions, because what we would do is we would say, you know, what you're going to get achieved, what are you working on this week, and we'd share what we intended to do. And what that meant was we were inspired to do what we said we were going to do. So when we came back a week later, we would ask each other, did you get your blog post written up? Did you achieve your social media scheduling? And it really made us, you know, focus. So we thought, actually, there's something in this. Let's open it up and hold these weekly accountability sessions to everyone else. So that's what we've decided to do. Now, working with intention is super important. Let me give you an example. So a friend of mine wanted to write up a blog post, about 800 words, and she cancelled our afternoon tea and cake meeting because it would take her all day to get it done. Now, even though I was gutted that I was missing out on cake, I appreciated that, you know, she was getting her priorities right. However, her first mistake was telling herself and me that it would take her all day to do the blog post. Just by saying it out loud, she had given herself permission to do so. And when I asked her later that night if she got it done, she admitted that she hadn't. She'd allowed herself to become distracted. You know, a phone call from her mother coming in, emails popping up, some washing to put on. But did you know there's actually a theory on this, and it's called Parkinson's law. So Parkinson's law observes that when people are given a task, the work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. In layman's terms, this basically means that whatever amount of time you set yourself to complete a task, that's how long it would take. So let's give an example. If you were writing an ebook and you gave yourself 3 months to complete it, it would take you 3 months. However, if you gave yourself 3 weeks to complete it, you would make different choices and you would get it done in those 3 weeks. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. You know, when you set your intentions for a task and when you're held accountable for those intentions, you're more likely to complete them. So Helen and I would love for you to join us for the accountability sessions. Just to briefly explain what they are. So we join on Zoom Monday morning from 9 till 11. It's a 2-hour Zoom call and we work independently. So we all come on. In the chat, you state what you're going to be doing for the next 2 hours. So most people will be doing invoices, calling clients. Some people do video work. Sometimes it's better to get those tasks that you don't particularly want to do over and done with. It sets you up for the day. Then what we do is switch off our microphones. So we put ourselves on mute, but we keep the cameras on. And there's something very interesting when you know people are watching you work. You actually get your work done. I make far fewer visits to put the kettle on when I'm working in the deep dive productivity session. So in the chat, you've stated your intention. So you literally work for 2 hours. You work as normal, and then after 2 hours, we'll sound a bell. You come back on the Zoom, and then we each go around saying what we've managed to accomplish and celebrating each other's successes, because that's important as well. So that's basically it. Give it a go. That's all I'd encourage you to do. See how much more focused you are and how much more productive you are in one of the sessions. I would love to see you there. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the rest of your networking session, and I will see you soon.
Right. Well, thank you, Lauretta. It's
Yes.
the next session is on the 6th of December. That's the last for the year, and then they will carry on in January. And sometimes they do an in-person session at Orpington Library.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And it really feeds well from the last 2 weeks that we had and today, those intentions. And if you're struggling for accountability, this productivity pod is amazing. And it's all about the intentions. So yes, thank you to Lauretta.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's question time if anyone has questions.
I'm taking it all in. When you finish the meeting, I'll probably think of a question. It's very impressive. It's very impressive. It's very informative, because anything that inspires and challenges you to be inspired is great, and the way it's done is great. So that much I will say. Question, I suppose inwardly I'm questioning how it could help me personally, which might be a bit selfish, so I apologize for that. So that is the question, but I want to turn it over in my own mind before I come to Zeenat or Lilian or Chandra to discuss it further.
I would like to bring it back to last week, the last session where Tim shared on why. I actually read this example. I think it was one of Kodak or one of these company where it used to be film cameras, and they had in their mind that they would a film, you know, a camera film business, but has technology changed? You know, we had like digital cameras and all that. They weren't able to adapt or transition or change because they've set in their why that they were just a film business. But you know what they really were, or what the other companies realized, was that it's not about the film, it's about capturing memories or creating memories. And when you set your why on a bigger thing, or you know, a deeper why, it helps you in that transition, or if you feel you need to transition. So I just thought I'll share that with you. And this goal setting exercise is great, where you're not really sure, you've never done it before, and this is a great step to kind of help take that first step.
Yeah, thank you for that, Lilian. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's that bigger picture that you're talking about. So it's looking for the growth in things, even though you have your why. How can you keep growing? Because it's the unknown. So that's a really good example. Okay, if there's no more questions, it'll be over to Chandra.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I had to disappear for a few minutes. My wife